Okay. I am doing this as one that can be seen better. So chapter 3.5, money market and CD accounts. So these are opportunities for people to invest money, generally in a bank. So a CD is basically a time deposit or a savings certificate. So basically I liken it to maybe a savings account, but you can't take the money out. So you have to leave it in for a certain amount of time, and then you can choose to take it out and keep it and keep the interest, or you can actually have it rolled back over into another one. So, and then term is just how long that's been left on deposit. So if it's a 6 month, if it's a year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. And then the maturity date is the date that is the end of it. Or when it has to be repaid to you. So with a CD, it's just a special savings certificate. It's usually higher interest, and you have to leave it in there for a certain amount of time, as I said before. So we're going to calculate some of them. Okay. So we have Nick, and he has a $1,200 6-month simple interest CD that gets quarterly interest at a rate of 4%. How much does he get each quarter, and how much interest is earned for the 6 months? So the fact that it says simple interest tells me that I am not using a chart. I am using just the math part. So we're going to go ahead and let me get my calculator. It's been a while since I actually filmed the videos. So anyway, okay, so we're going to do, I'm going to try and use a dark marker. Hopefully it will show up. Okay, or a dark pen. Okay, so we've got, and it's compounded quarterly. So we're going to do times 0.04 times 1/4 because it's quarterly. So we got 1,200 times 0.04 times 0.25. So that's $12. So that's for the first quarter. And it says, how much does it get each quarter? And because this is not compound interest, basically all you have to do is multiply this by however many quarters, because they're not earning interest on interest. So we're just going to do by 2 quarters because it's for 6 months. So then they're going to earn $24. So that's how it's different than compound interest. It's the same amount every time. Okay. All right. So then, because a CD is an account that has a time frame that you're supposed to leave it in, if for some reason you had to withdraw the money early, there's always going to be a penalty, because they are giving you higher interest with the idea that you're going to leave that money in their institution for such a certain amount of time. And so they would be earning the interest for that entire amount of time. But if you take it out early, then they lose that interest. So they're always going to have some sort of penalty. So we've got Ella, and she invested $5,000 in a 4-year CD that paid 5.2% annual interest. When she cashed out the CD at the end of 3 years, so that right there shows you that she actually took it out early, her early withdrawal penalty was 6 months simple interest. What was the amount of the penalty? So some people look at this and they're like, oh, I have to do all this calculating interest and blah, 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 blah for the 3 years that she had it. No, the question is, what was the amount of the penalty? Okay, so all we're going to do is this amount. Hopefully that's showing up. Yeah. Times 0.052, which is the interest rate, times, and it's compound, or it's 6 months, simple interest. So we're going to multiply it by 6 over 12. So 5,000 times 0.052 times 6 divided by 12. So it's $130 penalty. So if you think about that, if that's for every 6 months, it was in there for 3 years. So that's 6 months, 6 times. So that's basically, she just lost like 1/6 of what the interest was that she'd already earned. Okay. So those questions, you just need to make sure that you read that all they want is the penalty. The rest of it, we don't care. Okay. So then we're going to compare 2 different accounts. And I made these numbers up, so there may or may not be actually something that matches this. So we've got a regular savings account in 1 year, $900 deposit in a savings account paying 2% annual interest compounded daily. So once it says compounded daily, we know we have to use a chart. And because it's daily, and we like the daily chart because we don't have to do calculate the periods in percent, we're going to come in here and we're going to say, okay, 2% annual interest compounded daily. So it's just for a year, so 1 year. Okay, and then it's 2%. So we're going to come over here and we have, no wait, just kidding, that's not 2%. So 1 year, we're going to come clear over here, and it looks like that number. So 1.020201. So 1.020201. And I apologize for my bad handwriting. It's hard to do because I'm trying to work around something. So then we multiply it by the $900. So 1.020201 times 900. $918.18. Okay, so that's our compound amount. And it wants to know, let's see. Okay, so then if we wanted the interest, we would just subtract the $900 that we started with, and it's $18.18 is the interest. And while that doesn't seem like much, it's a relatively decent amount simply because it was only for a year. Okay, so then on this side, we're calculating just a regular 1 year CD, simple interest. So we're going to do 900 times 0.047 times 1 year. And we're going to get $42.30. So that's quite a big difference. And it all has to do with the interest rate. So a CD, they're guaranteed to keep that $900 for a year. A regular savings account, you could put it in one day and take it out the next. So, okay, then we have the effective rate. So the rate that you actually earn by keeping your money on deposit for a year. So the effective rate is the interest earned in 1 year divided by what the principal actually was. So here's our last page. Okay, find the effective rate of interest to the nearest 100th percent on $1,000 deposited in an account for 1 year that pays 5% annual interest compounded quarterly. So you're going to need the chart. So I'm going to grab it really quick. Okay. So we have the regular. So this is the 4-stepper in order to find the interest. So we'll come up here. Okay. So we're going to do periods. So it's quarterly, so it's 4 quarters. And we just want it for a year times 1 year. So we have 4 periods. Then the percent. So we're going to take the 5% and we're going to divide it by the same 4 quarters. And we get 1.25%. So then we have our two numbers to look up the chart. So 4 periods, 1.25%. So 4 periods over to 1.25%. Hopefully you can see that number. So we've got 1.050945. And then again, we just multiply that by the 1,000. And when we multiply by 1,000, we just move it over 3. So we've got $1,050.95. Okay. It says find the effective rate of interest. So looking back here, it wants the interest earned in 1 year. Okay. So this isn't the interest that's earned. This is just how much is in the account. So the interest earned is $50.95. Okay. So that's interest. So then we go ahead and I'm going to take the 50.95 and divide it by the principal, or the $1,000 that got put in there. So 50.95 divided by 1,000. And it wants it to, it doesn't really say. Okay. Oh, nearest hundredth. So the hundredth, if I went like this, 2, 5, 6, 3. Okay, so 10th hundredth. Okay, so we're going to need, so 50.95 divided by 1,000. So we're going to get 0.05095, and it says 100th percent. So we're going to move it over here. So then we got 5.095, and the 100th is here because it's 10th hundredth. Okay, so we're looking at 5 point, because the 5 tells the 9 to go up. Well, the 9 has to go to a 0, and therefore that has to go to a 1. So it's 5.1% interest instead of the actual 5% that it says. This is the amount that they actually made because of the different interest rate and how often it was compounded. So then the assignment is 113, 114, 1 to 20 all.